All right, welcome to another episode of Batman Comedy and Other Stuff, where we talk about Batman, comedy, and other stuff. I am comedian Nicky Moon. With me, as always, is comedian Kyle Adams. Kyle, how are you, man?
I'm doing good.
Well, we were absent last week just because I had work on Friday, so we weren't able to get in an episode. But we have a pretty good episode today. Turn down the Batman music. We have a pretty good episode today. We have Bill Conway, which is a head writer for The Hard Times, a punk rock political satire news website.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, which is hilarious. Actually, it's amazing. I'm a big... Yeah, he also runs Blackwater Open Mic every Thursday, either at 9:30 or midnight, and just overall a pretty good guy.
Always headlining Nicky Moon.
Yeah, I'm always headlining. In fact, next week I'll be hosting. So
you're hosting?
Yeah, I'm hosting. I'm excited for that. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's go straight into Batman news, Kyle. I don't think we knew it before, but Willem Dafoe is probably going to be an Aquaman character in the new Justice League film. And then Wonder Woman officially wrapped.
Yeah.
Which is cool, which means, and they also, that kind of also brings, because they pushed it forward, the release date forward for that.
Yeah, I actually read they pushed forward a lot of the dates. Even Green Lantern Corps and a few of the other ones have been pushed
I just heard that Green Lantern Corps was pushed back.
That one was pushed back?
Yeah, I think they pushed it forward and then they pushed it back.
Okay, so I may have gotten it from a different source, but yeah, I saw that with Wonder Woman, and I'm excited. I'm also very excited to see, you said with Willem Dafoe, I would like to see him maybe playing Black Manta would be a cool Aquaman villain, knowing like the storyline and like where it comes into their family and whatnot, you know, like the family connection.
And James Wan, the director of Aquaman, recently stated about how he wanted to make like an Aquaman movie like one of the darkest.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the darkest DC films out there, which is really cool. And I like that I like the fact that they're sticking with the darkness, because it definitely does distinguish itself from Marvel. Of course, Marvel had Captain America versus Captain America: Civil War.
It's Captain America versus Iron Man, Dawn of Spider-Man, and Black Panther. Which they looked fucking awesome. Like, I gotta give that to them. Like, I love the Black Panther suit. I love all the footage I've seen of Black Panther. And it's cool to finally get that character on the screen. I didn't see the movie. I read all the spoilers and just shook my head disapprovingly. But
yeah. You're not a fan. What makes you not a fan of Marvel?
I don't like the marketing aspect of it, where every movie feels like a commercial for the next one to me.
Now, is it just the Marvel comics, or is it the Marvel movie universe?
I feel like it's the Marvel movie universe, because I read both comics growing up as a kid. I mostly read Spider-Man and X-Men and then the occasional Fantastic Four when it came to Marvel, but I was never a Captain America fan, and I never really met anyone who was a Captain America fan, and that's something that always took me by surprise. I always felt like Disney just strapped a giant marketing rocket up his ass and shot him into the stratosphere. Yeah. It's like the movies they stand up, but they're kind of bland to me. They're really, like, I don't know, they don't really stand alone to me.
Now, post-Avengers, before the movie, the Marvel Cinematic Universe started, we had movies like Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. We had other movies like Daredevil, and even like Ghost Rider, Punisher came out, kind of more darker. And what other movies came out kind of before? Like Hulk, the 2003 Hulk.
The Hulk, yeah, which with Ang Lee, which is funny because he had some of the themes in that movie I felt were good. But he's the guy that made a Hulk movie without smashing. Really, you know.
Well, actually, I really like Ang Lee's 2003 Hulk. I think there are some parts in that movie where it where it does kind of gets corny. Like, and I also don't like how much like jumping the Hulk did.
Yeah.
That was kind of ridiculous.
He was like.
But it was like a real like psychological like Hulk movie that I really liked. And I like that it did stray away from like the TV version.
Well, the relationship with his dad and him kind of repressing a lot of those memories, that was really cool. And I think Eric Bana did a good job in the movie. I feel like the pacing was just, I don't know what they were going for with the pacing. And then you had like the Hulk dogs that looked like something from Out of the Mask. You know, It was I don't know. I mean,
something out of the Mask.
It does look like, you know, when the little dog in the mask. Yeah, it was basically like that. I don't know. I feel like the Hulk has been another character that's been kind of underplayed, and I like Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, but
it's hard, you know, because they try to establish already something, and then they had because we were hoping that we were going to get Edward Norton into, but I mean, also, I mean, it's almost like Edward Norton was almost too big for that, because I remember
he
like
doesn't
when
do sequels either.
Yeah,
he's like on paper he says he never does sequels, which is weird to get him as a comic book character.
Yeah, exactly. And he's always like putting his hand. I remember like reading something about American History X about how like he needed to have like editing power over it before it was released, and so it is kind of disappointing the way Hulk has been treated. But I do like Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. I think he's been doing a pretty good job. I'm still waiting on Hulk, where he goes, Planet Hulk. Yeah, you know, when he goes to like the thing. I want them to make a movie on that.
That's kind of similar to like the because it's like trials on another planet where they have to like fight each other, right? So it kind of reminds me of the apocalypse battles in DC as well.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
those are fun stories. I like where they kind of pit them against each other. I kind of wished. I don't know if that's what they're gonna. That seems like to be the trend now, is superheroes fighting superheroes. I want to see more of that kind of scenario, maybe like where they take it outside of. I don't know. I just feel like we've reached a point where they're gonna kill the genre if they don't stray a little bit from the
well, I mean, like when you think about a superhero, I mean, it's already we're kind of reaching this point, and Marvel's reaching this point, you know, where like they're running out of time on the contracts for a lot of these actors who have pretty primary roles in the, because like we don't know if we're going to be getting an Iron Man 4. We don't know if we're going to be seeing Chris Evans anymore. We don't know if just a lot of things change, and then you start thinking, well, can Marvel or can any superhero movie survive on these secondary characters that haven't been explored a lot? And can you still set up a franchise and a multi-film thing off of that? And that's almost kind of hard, because eventually DC will run. Eventually, no matter how many Batman movies we get with Ben Affleck, eventually we are going to have to reboot. Just like with the comic books in general. Comic books in general, you'll have stories going on for a little while, and then eventually everything gets rebooted.
Yeah, they just ended the New 52 run.
I remember when that came out.
Ended it, and that was a great storyline. I hope that they borrow from, and I think that they might with the Ben Affleck script. I'm really hoping with because Court of the Owls. I want to see just a.
I was reading somewhere that Ben Affleck wants to make a the old, because apparently he wants to put all of Batman's major villains almost in one movie. We're gonna get a rogues
the whole
gallery.
rogues gallery.
No, that would be so great. And I love that. I love the fact. I think Arkham Asylum, the comic book, that was one that I really loved. And I think I mentioned it before. But I like the idea that all these different villains, Batman faces, are all manifestations of almost his own fear. Would they exist if Batman did not exist? And there is this kind of horror aspect, almost some sort of weird paradox, where if Batman is removed, maybe these characters wouldn't exist, or maybe it wouldn't be as bad. Maybe he's amplifying a situation, which is really cool. I have my roommate read Batman and Philosophy.
Oh, I wanted to get that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I have picked up that book so many times and have not purchased it yet.
Yeah, I know. I
picked
picked up. I remember I used to work at this place called Hastings Entertainment, and it was like a retail store, but they always had it. And I was always I should have just bought my copy, but I like that idea though, because I think there is a lot of like to me I think that's what separates Batman from a lot of superheroes is the psychology and the philosophy.
Oh, that's what's always it's almost an evolution of the Batman fan. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad he set up my room with Batman stuff. Like it was almost like I had Batman curtains and stuff. And when I was a kid, it was like, okay, he's badass. He has all these gadgets. He's super cool. People are afraid of him. Like I don't know. It's just like all these weird little things to admire when you're a kid, and then when you grow up, you realize that he's a broken person and he is like completely in control of this tragedy that happened to him, and that's his superpower, and that's where it gets really intriguing.
Now, do you think that when it comes to like them exploring philosophy and psychology a little more deeper, do you think that all stems from just the source of it is it's inherently dark? Do you think that's my point that I'm trying to make? Do you think that Batman is more philosophical because it is dark, or does the dark aspect have anything to do with it?
I think it is inherently dark because it is a dark story. I mean, in a lot of ways he is like that. The tragedy is his superpower, but in a lot of ways he's still brooding and still it affects him every single day.
Yes.
So I mean, he is not dealing with it in the most healthy way, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's determined and he's focused, and that's where it comes from, and that is an inherently dark character. I mean, the way Christian Bale described it was that when his Bruce Wayne saw the Batsuit, it was like a heroin addict, like just, and you can even see it sometimes the way he looks at the suit, and he like it raises up out of the ground, and he's got his hand like against the wall or something, just like. Like, there have been a couple of really good comic books where like I forgot where it's from, but I remember there was this one comic book I remember where Bruce Wayne was at like a meeting and he kept on looking outside the window, waiting for it to get dark just so he could leave. And yeah, there is an element of like kind of like gothic lore that I inherently just kind of like to it, like if I'm getting like really down to it, but like. Yeah, when I was growing up, Batman was like he was the person. I think Batman the animated series had a lot to do with it because that came out around 1993, so I was like prime like hypnotism, like my brain was a sponge just swelling up with Batman. Oh, I still remember to this day vividly that episode. With Joker coming to the mayor's kid's birthday party, and then him and Batman are just fighting on the roller coaster at the end. That was such a great series. I mean, because it was dark. I remember reading somewhere that was like the first cartoon that actually showed like blood like on the lips of things, and yeah, no, I mean it was so good. I mean, and that's why I think I always love like Batman Mask of Phantasm. You know. Which we rated the number one.
Yeah, so if you paid attention to us on our last episode, rated number one.
Where are our bat boners at right now? Like,
bat boners. Yeah. We actually got like I haven't been tweeting as much lately. I feel like I like off of the Batman Comedy podcast. By the way, we're on Twitter at Batman Comedy Pod, and in case you guys want to follow us, or if you were led to this by the Twitter, thank you for following. But my strategy is to do a lot of Twitter stuff right away, so we have like at least like hundreds of followers, and then to see if like the episodes grow or anything. Yeah. But for the most part, like I don't really care. Like I kind of just like talking about Batman for an hour. I mean, like I like meeting up with you and talking about Batman for an hour, which is
yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I see you brought your Batman and Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, you want to dress up for the podcast. It's important.
Yeah, exactly. It brings good vibes to it. What's your earliest Batman memory?
earliest Batman memory. It has to be seeing Batman Returns in theaters when I was a kid. I had been like 4 years old, and they had the I don't remember if you remember the poster or not, but it was actually like a Penguin mayoral candidate poster that they had, like, because he was running for mayor in the movie. And I remember that was on the wall of the...
Well, Batman Returns was the first movie that you saw in theaters.
Yeah. That was definitely the first memory of that.
Yeah.
Which was a super dark one in of itself.
But I always really like Tim Burton type stuff. Like, Tim Burton, because he had the first two Batman. But overall, Tim Burton's filmography, I think, is really good. I think he was onto something for those first couple of years. Like Edward Scissorhands. Did you ever see that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Very good.
I'm still a huge fan of Beetlejuice, and
Beetlejuice! Yeah,
I love how every couple of months there's a new article that goes. It says Tim Burton and Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton all agree that Beetlejuice 2 would be a great idea. There's no news of it ever being filmed or written or started, but they all think it would be fantastic and they would be down to do it.
Yeah.
Every couple of months, that same news article gets an update, and it's the exact same update. Mm-hmm. it's like they still think it's a good idea.
They still think it's a good idea.
No,
And there's always conflicting rumors of whether it's starting up or starting again, which is very frustrating. Eventually, just because I think this is how I think media is working nowadays, is eventually it seems like there will be a show, any sequel you can think of. There'll probably be a sequel for it in the future.
Oh yeah.
Just because there's so many people that are doing it.
Well, I don't even know at this point because there's so many things that have gotten sequels that just did not garner them. And
comedies, I feel are the worst with sequels. It's hard to make a good comedy sequel. They try to do with Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, Dumb and Dumber 2 was sad at the end. They showed back and forths of shots from the original movie.
Yeah,
and then shots of the new movie.
I didn't like it. If they were the same movie. If they were the great moments in both movies. What are you talking about? You mean the great moments in the first movie? There's no great moments in the second movie. What are you trying to do?
It was like watching your parents die. It was sad.
I didn't like it. There was no to me, what I liked about Dumb and Dumber was the fact that they were real people. You could feasibly imagine someone being kind of that dumb and still being able to function.
She's functional.
Yeah. But by the second one, they're in the same clothes. It's like a cartoon. It's not even there's not even real people. And what I liked about the first Dumb and Dumber 2 was also that there was a lot of I really felt like Harry and Lloyd were really good friends. Mm-hmm. By the end when they're just walking alone, I was like, oh man, that's a pretty good movie. But I don't know. It the second one, it just gets. They're running away from a tornado. And then did you see Zoolander 2?
I did not see Zoolander 2.
Yeah, I don't think... That's kind of sad that movie didn't do well, because I remember looking at the trailer and being pretty happy about it.
Yeah. I don't know, sometimes things just get too big for anyone to control, and just they become... I don't know, it's just like a snowball effect, and it's just that no one can enjoy it anymore at a certain point. And I just hope that doesn't happen with superhero movies. I feel like it might, though, in the next 10 years.
How do you feel about Gotham using the character Azrael in the series? Because that's the storyline they're kind of going for.
Are they doing John Paul Valley? Is it the same guy, or is it a different Azrael?
All I think I know is just a different Azrael.
Okay, because it kind of looks like... I saw some of the previews. It kind of looks like the Azrael from Arkham City.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got basically the super gothic red medieval Batman that almost looks like mixed with Assassin's Creed, Altair or something.
How do you feel about Batman facing all these villains who are all going to be older than him when he's...
I don't know. The first season like some of the things that young Bruce did, I was kind of like, with this guy, but I don't know if they can develop it into like a young Batman, like that would be kind of interesting. But villains that are older than him, I don't know. It's just it would make more sense though why he might bring a Robin in later on down the line. You know what I'm saying? Because like I did this shit when I was 12. Why can't you? You know?
Yeah.
I just don't know how far. Like they're gonna either have to fast forward the series a little bit, or I don't know what they're gonna do with it. But I enjoyed it for the longest time, and then at a certain point in like the first season, it just turned into like, how did we get ourselves out of this? Like, how can we make an alliance with them? Like,
exactly.
Like, how many times is Fish Mooney gonna seduce somebody? Like,
no, and that's the main difference between the DC television stuff and the Marvel television stuff, because the DC stuff is not like connected to the movie stuff in any way.
Well,
which kind of gives the shows more freedom.
Oh yeah.
But the Marvel thing, like, I mean, I don't know. If they start making like if I start seeing like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cameos that I don't recognize because like I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in like a Avengers movie, because eventually, I mean, like we're not gonna be able to see Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans anymore, or like Mark Ruffalo after a certain point. Eventually, they're gonna try to make all these television stars like the movie stars.
I wouldn't mind it. I haven't really watched Daredevil, but from what I've seen of the clips of it, it looks awesome, and from what everyone's told me, it looks cool. And I could see that being Daredevil and Punisher coming into it.
Yeah, but, and
I don't know how they're gonna mix that into that bright colored cotton candy world of Avengers, though. Like, you know, like it's gonna be kind of. That's the only thing. Like,
I like
because
I just like the look of Daredevil. I think it's really good, like aesthetically. Like
and,
it just
and the way it's shot and the actual like the fact that there's a lot of acrobatics actually like worked into it, and it's not like cheesy Jackie Chan slow mo, you know, acrobatics. It's pretty cool. Like I need to get into it, but it's another one of those shows that's just on the Netflix queue perpetually. You know. Like.
Yeah, exactly. We're not like dedicated fanboys. We like talking about a lot of stuff in theory. But, oh, by the way, I just want to plug this real quick. My movie's streaming online, Kyle.
9.5 on IMDb?
Yeah, it has a 9.5 on IMDb. It's called Estee Does Not Make a Movie. I want everyone... Well, for right now, we'll have it, like, available for, like, a short time, but I want people to watch it. I want you to watch it, Kyle.
Yeah, I need to see it. I've seen the trailer. It looks good. And I've heard great things from everyone who's seen it.
Yeah, I got that 9.5 on IMDb. I wonder what the highest rated Batman movie is on IMDb. It has to be The Dark Knight, right? I think Dark Knight was actually, like, in the top 10.
Dark Knight was the only time people actually, like, toppled over to be like, okay, DC's got something here. Like... maybe the first Batman.
I think it really established the cinematic. Yay, Conway's here, Bill.
Hey guys, what's up?
Pretty good. You can pull on that chair.
All right, maybe I will.
All right, Bill Conway.
Hello.
Hard Times. Head writer. I think I asked you last. Well, very cool. How you doing, Bill? How's your day going?
It's a warm one.
It's a warm. Yeah, it is a warm one. Sorry about there's no air conditioning in this room. We're all gonna be sweating. We're all gonna be sweating like in 30 minutes. Me and Kyle were just going over some Batman stuff. I want to ask you, Bill. Earliest Batman memory.
Batman memory.
Yeah. We'll go into it a little bit.
You're probably seeing that first Batman movie in theaters with the Joker there, played by Jack Nicholson. Probably.
How old were you when that movie came out?
I don't know, when did it come out?
89.
I was 5.
Very nice. And you're not a big are you a superhero fan? I didn't really know if you were before I asked you to come on.
Yeah, I've seen most of the Batman movies, but like I don't get super excited about it. Like,
Yeah. Well, like we always like to
viewing.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what's your problem with superheroes? Well, you were always really. I mean, punk. I imagine like punk rock was like a big
Well, there's plenty of nerds that listen to punk and hardcore that love those movies, you know.
I also love Batman.
It's still nerd culture of being, you know, people collecting records, same people that are collecting comic books who are the same people that are seeing the movies, you know.
There's a lot of crossovers, like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just my brother's big into it, but, you know, there's the slight difference between him and I is he wanted to see those things, and I was just like, whatever, you know. But I've seen most of them. I haven't seen that new one, you know, the Batman versus Superman. Nothing but good things about it.
Exactly.
Kyle really likes that movie. I'm the guy kind of on the fence about it.
Well, so everybody was just... Well, the main thing that I saw was it was just kind of boring, you know, like, nothing really happened. Like, so what was good about it? Like, what is the good defense?
Yeah, Kyle, I love you when you defend Batman vs Superman.
Are you wearing the shirt?
Yeah, he's wearing the shirt.
It's funny that Trevor Thorpe, another Portland comedian. Yeah, Trevor Thorpe saw me wear this and he goes, "Oh, you're an optimistic man, aren't you?"
Optimistic man.
I do agree that the movie had some like pacing issues for sure. I really enjoyed the way they did Lex Luthor, who I've always thought was a boring villain. They kind of made him a little. They made him a little more over the top, and a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually enjoyed that. Wonder Woman was fantastic. She kind of like stole the show. And they were really interesting, like the way that they used her and they utilized her. They really made her seem like someone, not just like a bimbo in a like. Yeah. That's almost like when people see that. Oh, she's a bimbo in a tight dress. She was handling shit. Like she seemed like someone who was knowledgeable and someone who has been around the world for a long time.
Does she fly like the invincible plane thing?
No. Because there's like 2 or 3 different versions of her in the comics. Like she has that, of course, in like the early ones, and then some of the cheesier ones. And then she can fly herself, I believe. She leapt really far in the movie. I don't know if she can fly or not, but you saw that.
She's a good jumper.
Yeah, she's like the Hulk, like we talked about.
I think that so like when you make like a Batman vs Superman movie, I feel like the cinematic edge is already on Batman because of course Superman, because like you can't have. Because, like, Superman could, like, take his head off. Like, you have to... Like, the whole movie pretty much has to be on how Batman can beat Superman. And I think that's the problem I have with the movie, because I don't think it, like... I mean, we don't really know how he did it. We just know that he got, like, a suit. He did some, like, pull-ups. And then he was able to...
The CrossFit scene is David...
Yeah, there's a big workout scene.
So, I know it's called Batman vs. Superman, but... They're against each other. They're literally, because I know there's like the Superman versus Muhammad Ali comic, but they're not really fighting each other. You know, like so. Batman and Superman aren't buddies.
Not yet. Not when they start off. It's funny because Batman almost takes like the form of like a xenophobe who's like afraid of illegal aliens.
White guy? That's a xenophobe. Hold on.
Yeah. He's a rich guy who's a xenophobe, and like. He's afraid of an illegal alien. It's basically almost comes down to that, and he's. I mean, there's a lot of personal stuff too, like Superman wrecks his tower, and then,
property damage.
I mean, I get it. Like it's a large pill to swallow, but I do feel like it's almost something we just have to get past to get Justice League started.
Oh, okay.
And when they're in the Justice League, they're together, right?
Yeah,
they're buds.
They say they're buds. Yeah. Well, I like the idea that like Superman. I like the philosophical differences. I like it when it's like the war between
that part
like,
was cool. Yeah,
it
was a lot of news beats, but Dark Knight Returns was a lot of news beats as well.
I like it how it goes into like atheism a little bit because like I'm gonna spoiler alert, in case you're ever gonna in case you ever see Batman vs Superman, like there's a point in it where like he's like dragging Superman by his cape, and he's like your parents probably made you believe in God, but I don't believe in God. Like, I thought that was cool.
No, that scene was awesome too. The fight scene was all of the fight scenes were fantastic. Mm-hmm. Also, the Batman's choreography. I've never seen Batman move like that in film, and that was insane. Like,
yes,
that's how we want him to like be able to scramble and be able to fight. And,
mm-hmm.
You know, and it did a good job with that. It was a severely flawed film in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. But we've talked about that on the past too as well.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of this podcast is just repeating Batman. It's just repeating just Batman's, finding some ways that we can keep the Batman convo going.
Yeah.
But we also talk about comedy and other stuff, which is actually why I wanted Bill here today. Bill, how long have you been doing stand-up?
I'm in year 4, so.
In year 4.
Yes.
Now, did you start in Portland?
No, I started in San Francisco. I did 2 years in San Francisco, and I'm 2 years in Portland now. So yeah, split up my 2 years. So now that I've done 2 years here and dominated the scene, it's time to take off.
Yeah. You also, how long you been running Blackwater now?
I think the first one was in December. Maybe January.
Now, was that a venue that you were going to beforehand, or did you?
Well, they were like brand new. Like they had just opened up maybe a month or two before like the open mic. Because they didn't even have a sign out front, when we first started. But I had just seen that they started doing shows there, and friends of mine that played there. I was like, well, give me the contact info for the people, then we'll see if they want to do a show. And that's just when Brody. We stopped doing their Thursday night mics, so I'm like, there's no Thursday night mics, let's try to get one on a Thursday, and they were like, we'll do it, but if there's a show, you have to start late, and, but you can have it at 9:30, I could start it at 6 if I wanted to nights, but I just figured, let's do it at 9:30 in case there's an earlier mic that eventually starts up, because there's no time limits at Blackwater.
Yeah, so you can literally just keep on. How late can you keep the show going for, or is it
until 1 o'clock?
Until 1 o'clock.
But I did that the first 6 weeks, and this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
30 comedians up, and then, when you're a comedian, you guys are when you're newer, and so you get to Brody and you're 30th on the list and you just go, well, what the fuck am I going to do for the next 2.5 hours? And you end up leaving, and then you don't really, when you're the host, you kind of know everybody gets it, it's just kind of where people sign up, but it's there's a bitterness involved and you don't want people being like, well, sorry, man,
Well, yeah, that kind of goes with open mics in general. I don't like it when the host, or when any host thinks that they're doing us a favor by putting 40 comedians or 30 comedians on the list. It's much better if you cap it and give everyone the amount of time, and then even rotate people in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just think that's very. I just don't. I don't like it when I sign up and then there's 40 people signing up and everyone's gonna get time. It's no. Well, I don't want time if it's only gonna be 2 minutes.
Well, if they're gonna cap it, I like the online sign up because that's the best way to do it. If you're gonna do it that way, because I don't want to show up somewhere and then have to fight for the list certain mics.
That's why I don't even do Funhouse anymore. It's going there and you show up 45 minutes early and you're the third person to walk in the door, but the list isn't there. And then as the sign-up time comes and everybody just jumps in front of you, it's well, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah, no, Funhouse open mic happens on Wednesdays, at 7. But that one is a brutal sign up because you can't really sign up online unless you're kind of friends with the host, and you have to assert yourself.
It's Black Friday.
When the list comes out.
It is Black Friday, and that list is a Cabbage Patch doll.
Yeah. This is a question kind of for both of you. But what's your process heading into a week? When you got because we all do open mics week to week, and obviously there are a lot of the times when performing in front of the same people. So it's how do you I guess because you wanna have good material, yeah, but you also want to distinguish yourself by having good sets. So what is is writing done throughout the week? Or is it on a specific day and then you go into it and then you just work it out? Or how's that?
I try and do it because it doesn't. I can't sit down and write. Something will come to me and then I try and work it out on stage. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know. But that what you were saying about distinguishing yourself though, apart from that, because that you have to read the audience and be okay, have these people heard my jokes 1,000 times already? You know, and you also, you said you want to have a good set, and I always run into that at Funhouse, because I'll try something new at Funhouse, and then it'll just fucking fall flat, because it's just not funny. you know, but I don't want to do the same thing. I don't know. I'm trying to mix up my own style right now because it's not working. You know what I mean? It's definitely not working right now. But
well, I mean, like, also, but how can you even judge if something is working or not? Because like it is like. I mean, you'll have a good set, you'll have a bad set. I mean, sometimes with me, like I'll do the same thing one place. I'll do the same, which does good. And then I'll do the same place in another place, and it won't do good. So it's almost like, well, how do I judge that? Like, Bill.
Well, I mean, open mics are terrible for feedback because it is, you're going up in front of the same people, and and it's easier said than done, because I fall into the same trap. Like when you see the same people and you're like, well, they just saw me do this 3 minutes at Ranger Station, and now we're over at Brody and we're doing the same exact set, and the same people just hustle over there. But it's like, this isn't for other comedians. This is for a eventual crowd that has never seen it, who you're presenting it, like, this is the first time I've ever said this. Can you believe how funny I am? And so, like, I always have that mental battle. But then I see there's some comedians in town that just give you that look that's just like, I've heard this before. And it's like, well, I've heard your fucking bullshit joke.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Yeah.
Does that pressure you to improvise more on stage? For you, Kyle, or for you, Bill?
It definitely does. I mean, I feel like sometimes some of the best stuff I say is off the cuff, and it's not even like something that I had come up with originally. And I don't know, but sometimes it'll like I said with Funhouse, I always psych myself out with that one. I mean, I have like maybe out of every 5 sets, I have one good one there, like 5 sets in a row,
Yeah.
Because you end up psyching yourself out, especially with a room full of comics that have obviously heard your stuff before.
It's hard. It also depends on when you go up. I always feel like no matter what, if you're in the 4th or 5th spot, regardless of the mic, that's probably the best position that you're probably
where the audience is the most warmed up and not the most just numb from.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Numb. Numb is a good word, I think, to kind of use. Bill, do you have do you feel pressure to improvise more since people are seeing you over and over again?
I think it depends on the room when you get in there. And it's just if there's a decent ratio of audience to comics, then it's just all right, we'll present material, and then if that starts bombing, then I try to riff a little or something like that. But I always like to try to stay loose so you don't get married to material, because there's always something in that riff. At one point, it's wait, what did I say that got that one laugh in this bogus set? Maybe I can use that again, and unless it's one of those things where it's just well, this isn't going well, and everybody laughs. It's well, that's not a joke. That's just acknowledging everybody here hates this, right? That doesn't count as laughs.
Now you also have the ACAB show. That you how often do you do that?
It's the second Wednesday of every month.
Second Wednesday. Where do you do that?
At Kickstand Comedy Space downtown. So the old it used to be a Chinese language schoolroom. Now it's an improv theater. Thank you, gentrification.
How did the last one go?
The last one was great.
Who'd you have?
Curtis Cook, Noriko Ott, Hunter Donaldson, and then Dylan Rafe and Jeff Kelsey improvised some stuff, and that was a really good show. And I try to set it up where there's always 2 people just doing straight stand up, but no, and then I try to get a weird act in there, Jay Shingle was on the first one, and he's a weirdo.
This is also the shit talking. We should have a shit talking portion. Just to go into every comedian.
I wouldn't call it shit talking. I think he's a great weirdo.
Yeah.
Being a weirdo is his thing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He sent me a video, just text message of just him putting a fake gun in his mouth and pulling the trigger and then falling off the screen.
Really?
And we're not good enough friends.
You don't know him well enough to send him suicide gags.
I was legitimately concerned, well, it didn't sound like a real gun. It'd
be funny if he fucking sent Conway.
Would he snuff himself out and send it to me?
You're the only one I ever connected with.
You do get know how it is in other scenes, because, like, I only really experienced Albuquerque and Portland, but it does seem like you do get, like, more, like, abstract, kind of weird sets, or comedians even, like, in Portland, than, like, more that probably get talked about here.
Well, nobody's really trying for, like, that club comedian thing here. It's all, like, alternative-esque, you know? Like, nobody's got, like, the super polished, you know, like, you know, you watch some comedian specials on Netflix or something like that, and you're just like, oh, this is stand-up comedy? I'm like,
yeah.
Oh,
This
God, look at, they're dancing.
Call me old-fashioned, but I don't like it when our comedians dance. Who are the comedians that you really like, Kyle?
In town?
No, well, I mean, we can talk about it in town, but I'm talking about like just like kind of like your overall like inspiration, like why
even though my style is nothing like him, I love Doug Stanhope is probably my absolute favorite. Just I love the honesty and just his style that he gets away with being really crass, but he's super intelligent and has facts to back it up. Like he's not just like a shock comic.
Yeah.
You know, whereas he probably may have started off that way, but he like snowballed into being something deeper than that. I also really like Maria Bamford just because of how fucking off the wall and insane she is, like in real life, because you know she really is like a crazy person, and it's great, and she's very good at channeling that.
Yeah, Maria Bamford, very good. I only got into her recently, and I
got to meet her after a Helium set.
Oh, really?
Cool. Yeah.
How was that?
She was a cool lady. That had piercing blue eyes. Just
I'm in love with her. I'm in love with Maria Bamford. What do you want me to say? I only need to meet her one time to really know.
I love Patrice O'Neill. He's fucking hilarious. Great. Just super honest. Like I love either wacky, irreverent comics or just like super balls to the wall, honest comics. I would say.
Bill.
I think mine are probably slightly different than yours. I kind of like this more of a straight comedian, like Norm Macdonald and John Mulaney are my two favorites.
Yeah, Norm is very good. Did you guys watch the Norm Macdonald show when he had that going, like the podcast that he had?
Yeah, I've listened to it every
time. My God, it's so great.
When he would do read the jokes.
Read the jokes at the end. So at the end of the podcast, he had these. He had these
like weekend updates.
Yeah, exactly. He had these written down, like kind of like street jokes that he has, and he doesn't tell anyone who wrote them, but he has like the guests like read them. It's
and he'd always give like a super offensive one to his co-host.
Yeah.
His would read it, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? I wish he would bring that back, but I think he only did that show when he heard that Letterman was retiring, and it was his like audition tape to become the next Letterman.
That's funny.
Yeah, he only did it for a couple episodes, but there are some episodes on there that are pretty good. Like Mark Maron's on one.
Oh, yeah, it's worth going back and re-listening to those. Those like hold up as like watching an episode of The Simpsons. You know?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, it's not just like, oh, you know, you listen to the WTF with Louis C.K. Like, how often are you going to go back and listen to that?
Yeah, when they ramble for like 20 minutes,
right.
You know?
It's in and out, and then it's disposable.
So, I mean, you only got into stand-up, like, 4 years ago. So what were you doing? Were you doing anything, like, kind of, like, in, like, the kind of the comedy realm before that? Or how did you, like, decide to get into it?
Well, I mean, so if you actually gauge, if you were to take the first time I did stand-up comedy, I've actually been doing it for 25 years, because in 4th grade I did stand-up comedy at a talent show, and I just told 2 shitty jokes.
Do you remember those jokes?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the jokes? What are the jokes?
So these were jokes my cousin told me, so I.
So they're not funny. We blame the cousin.
No, it's just saying it's not original material.
Oh. Okay.
You know, like I didn't realize comedians generated their own stuff. I was Mencia-ing the whole situation.
But you delivered it better than your cousin.
So I had my hand on the mic stand, did my normal mannerisms. I got up there and said, oh, hey, guys, and then went into the thing. But first joke was, this guy goes into a toilet store, all right?
All right.
Salesman says, yeah, we got 3 toilets here. We got a got a wooden toilet, a metal toilet, and a singing toilet. And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm not crazy. Give me the wooden toilet."
Yeah.
And so he buys it, goes home, brings it back the next day. He's like, "Hey man, this wooden toilet's giving me splinters. I got to return this." He's like, "No problem. Let's try the metal." And I'm like, "All right." Brings home the metal one. He's like, "Hey, man, the seat's too cold. Every time I sit on it, it's like freezing." So he brings back the metal toilet. He's like, "I'll take the singing."
Yeah.
Comes back with the singing toilet. And back the next day, he's like, "Well, what's wrong with this one?" He's like, "Well, I went to take a dump. Started singing the national anthem, and I had to stand up." Slaves.
Slaves, always.
Fourth graders. Losing their shit. Swinging their shirts over their heads. It's pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
So I'm rolling. I'm riding the wave.
I'm riding the wave. Okay.
I go right to the next joke. I'm like, I got him. I mean, they're right out of the palm of my hand. Let's end with the closer.
Yeah.
I'm doing a tight 2-minute set here.
Yeah.
And so it's a father, rich man, and he has 2 sons, and he says, "Whoever, guys, I can't decide who's going to get the heir to my, who's going to be the heir to my fortune. So whoever brings me the most ping pong balls will get my fortune." So one of the kids, a little hard of hearing, this guy, So first son brings back 1,000 ping pong balls. Like, wow, how's the other one going to beat this? And, second son, kind of hard of hearing guy, brings back 2 gigantic balls, and he's like, "What the hell are these?" Like, "You're supposed to bring back ping pong balls." Like, "Ping pong balls? I thought you said King Kong's balls." I got kicked off the stage.
You're a little too radical. That was fourth grade, Bill.
The teacher was like, "Get off the stage." The kids were like, "No, we want more." Can't do it. And so that's what started my comedy career, and then it took, roughly 25 years until I, 23 or whatever years until I got back on stage. But it was just, comedy is tough to get into. Like, I don't know. Like, when you're growing up, did any of you guys know anybody that was in entertainment, like, that did anything creative at all? Like, I came from a working-class family that expected me to pave driveways, Like, their big thing was be a plumber and an electrician,
And an electrician?
You'll make crazy money.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, cool. But so then just, like, I worked in a warehouse in San Francisco and just listening to, when I started dating my now fiance, we had talked about, like, TED Talks, and I didn't know about those, and I was like, well, there's got to be a way I can just listen to these on my, like, an iPod or something. And so then I was like, well, wait, I've heard the term podcast in a No Effects song, and I was like, what is a podcast? And then I found, like, Stuff You Should Know and other comedy podcasts and Bill Burr's podcast, and it's just like every person that wrote Bill Burr's like, how do you get into comedy? And it's like, you go to an open mic, and like, oh, right, you go to an open mic, and then you go online. When you're in San Francisco, you type in open mic, and the first one that comes up is Brainwash Cafe, and it's every Thursday. I think they do it nightly now, which is a disaster. But and then I went there for like a month and just kind of like hung out and looked around. And I don't know about you guys, how you got into it, but my motivation was I don't need to be the best. I just know I can't be the worst, like...
Yeah. You don't want to be.
And there was a couple people that were so bad, like, that I was like, I could get up there and shit my pants and then eat it on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would be funnier than the material that these guys are presenting, that they wrote down. And, like, I forget, the one guy's name was JT something, and he just was so terrible, but he had the confidence of somebody that was good, which made it so much worse.
Yeah.
Like the type of guy that, like, says a shitty joke, then pauses and drinks his beer, It's like,
yeah.
You're pausing for which laughter? Move on to the next joke.
I hate it when I see comedians sit down. That's like to me like the ultimate sin. Yeah. I hate that, especially when it's like an open mic. When it's like an open mic meet, and especially like even Mark Maron, like when he did it.
Oh my God, Thinky Pain.
Yeah, yeah.
Worst name special.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of his material, but like I like WTF. He's a great interviewer. But if I had just seen that he named something Thinky Pain, like I would have just like put in like a Google thing, like never bring up any Mark Maron names. That's the dumbest shit in the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, but as you're saying, sitting down.
Yeah, sitting down. Yeah, no. It's I don't know. I just kind of think it's like kind of like disrespectful to like every comedian that's ever existed. Like I just think like, oh, I'm better than this. Like my joke, like and then it's also I don't know. It's just kind of lazy. Like right? I mean, like.
I think it's pompous, you know.
It's pompous, yeah. It is.
It's this thing like, hey guys, you know, regular stand-up comedy, like these guys are clowns. Like I'm just gonna talk to you and be real.
Yeah, I know. Like it's like the biggest.
These aren't jokes. This is just real talk. Like you know, it's just us here. It's like other comedians. And I'm like, shut up.
I'm gonna sit down during my whole SNL set now.
That would be funny. I mean, just to show us.
No, I don't sit down just because it makes me fatter on stage when I sit down.
It's like a strategy.
Yeah.
Like
I don't want to do that. No, I stretch out, and I stand sideways the whole time.
I wanted to get into the hard times. How many likes you got on Facebook so far?
So close to 100,000. Let's see. I'm not counting exactly, but 96,740 is probably where we're at right now.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And you started Hard Times around. Did you start it around the same time that you started doing stand up, or was it a couple of years after?
No, it was a couple. Hard Times has been around for like 18 months now. It started in December 2014.
And who'd you start that with?
This guy, Matt Sankum, he lives in Pacific. I had him on my podcast. He's a straight edge guy, and then I just became kind of friendly with him. We had never met in person until like 8 months. We're working with each other on like the Hard Times when I went down to San Francisco. You know, months later. But we had just met through the podcast, and we had a similar sense of humor. And he's a journalist, and he wanted to start something that was like The Onion, but instead of The Onion satirizes like the New York Times, and he wanted to satirize like Vice, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like that, and then he just put a Facebook message up like, hey, who wants to help him? And I was like, yeah, I got this covered, you know? And went home and wrote like, you know, on my skate down to like Brody, just wrote like 100 headlines in my phone and brought them back. I was like, here's 100 of them. Let's go through these, and those became like our first 6 or 7 articles. Like, you know, most of them.
So out of 100,
yeah, I mean,
it's
a numbers game. You know?
Yeah.
You pitch 100, and 2 are selected, and it's good.
Now I remember you telling me last night that you put out at least 1 article per day.
Yeah.
I imagine that is a lot. I imagine that's a lot of work, like just on a day-to-day basis. Like because I mean you have to, because you also have other people writing. So like just filtering out like. I just kind of want you to explain the process that you explained to me.
Yeah. So we have like a Facebook pitch group where it has like 100 contributors, and
they
will any headline they want to pitch, and then everybody in the group, you know, will, in a perfect world, they read it, and then they'll cast their opinion on it by either ignoring it or hitting the like button, you know, and it's like, if 10 people in the group say, this is good enough to be a headline, then we kind of move it off to the side, and then we have a weekly meeting where we look at everything that got a bunch of likes, and then we discuss, like, is this actually a good headline, or is this a shitty headline that is funny because it's a pun that has no value, you know, like, and so we'll make the decision off of that, and then if it's somebody else pitched it, then we say, hey, write this, and I'll like kind of send them a message like, this is the direction you want to go in, like hit these beats, and then you know, don't write it over 350 words. Nobody reads more than 350 words. You know, if it's longer than that, you're gonna lose them. And so when people send me like a 600-word draft, I just send it right back. It's like, yeah, start trimming. You know, like, you're not even gonna start reading this until you edit this down to 350 words. Like, you're not as funny as you think you are.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever as funny as they think they are. But a lot of the contributors don't have professional writing experience, and I don't have any professional writing experience.
And you're like, who's this guy?
Yeah. So when I'm giving direction to people, it's like almost like, I hope they don't know I'm a fake. But then, I mean, I just read The Onion religiously from the day I discovered it, you know, and I lived in Boston, and we didn't have the hard copy of The Onion, but New York did, and I'd have friends that would go to New York and be like, bring me back copies of The Onion, and then dig into the bottom where there's extra ones from weeks past and bring back as many as you can, and I would just read those, and I bought every book, and so I think that tone is in the back of my brain, and it's easy to say, like, be like, this, and this, you just hit these points, and then you end on the biggest joke. It's pretty simple to me.
Yeah. Well, what I like about it is, like, with satire news, I always feel like if you, if you treat it like if it's real news, that's where you play it straight the entire time. That's what's so great about The Onion, that's what's so great about Hard Times. And how long, go ahead.
It's what drives me nuts when people, like, send a draft back where all the jokes are like, the Boner Kings were at the fart factory. It's like,
yes, like an 8-year-old with Mad Libs.
Like you've all been involved in punk and hardcore. When did you ever go to a place called like the Fart Factory?
The Fart Factory.
It's called like Hell House or something. Like, give it a straight name, and that's actually funnier because somebody in like Austin might be like, oh my god, it's so funny. There was a place called the Library in Austin that used to do house shows.
Exactly.
And, like, it's more relatable and funny to people than being like, it's the Devil's Rim Job, like, it's stupid. And so when people do that, I'll send it right back and be like, quit trying to be funny and just be funny.
Yeah. Quit trying to be funny and be funny. Yeah. And how long have you been doing your podcast now? Which is called Edgeland on
the internet.
The internet. Oh, okay.
It's at edgelandpodcast.com is where in iTunes and all that, wherever podcasts are found. But I've been doing that since I moved to Portland. So however long I've lived in Portland, and then I'm in my second year here. So episode 127 came out today. So over just a little over 2 years.
Wow, God, 127. Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll ever have 127 hours of Batman conversation? I almost like.
Definitely.
I hope we. What an accomplishment! I feel like has anyone talked about Batman for?
I'm assuming you guys have seen every movie, right? But
yes.
Are you a fan of the 1960s campy Batman TV show?
We actually have discussed this before, but we are. Yeah. We for what it is, we feel like it's a pretty good show, pretty good movie. I actually think the movie's like a great comedy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
the
what
ducklings.
Shark repellent. Okay, so at the end of every one of these, for the last 10 or 8 minutes or so, we like to
freestyle rap.
Freestyle. We like to discuss. We like to make a list, Batman related. But this week we wanted to go over best Batman villains. Mm-hmm. So I guess to get this ball rolling, I guess we can just start throwing out some names. And then we'll just pick the ones we like and then rank them as so.
Okay.
Okay, so we got the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Joker's in there. We have
Got your Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. All right, Poison Ivy.
You got your Riddler.
You got your Riddler. All right, now this is just a quiz. Like, Bill, how much? Okay, Riddler. Actually, yeah. Okay, let's actually just rank the ones that Bill can name.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Okay, so.
You got your Penguin.
Okay, we have the Riddler, Penguin. Oh fuck! Hold on. Let me write this down.
Right on the checkbook, so the landlord's gonna get a weird.
Joker, Penguin. You said
Riddler.
Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy.
You got your Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You got your Scarecrow.
Okay. That's pretty good, Mr. Freeze.
You got your Bane.
Bane. What was the one you said before, in between Mr. Freeze and Bane?
Scarecrow.
Okay, Scarecrow. Yeah. Those are some good ones.
Now I think it gets into the secondary. Does Catwoman count as?
Yes. We gotta be. Yeah, she's anti-hero, but I still count her as a villain.
Yeah, and now I think after that, I think those are the big players, right? Because those are the ones that were given away as
1,
McDonald's
2, 3.
prizes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you name two more? Name two more.
Let's see. There's the I don't remember her name, but she was the French chick from that last one that turns out she was a bad guy.
Ra's al Ghul's daughter?
Yeah.
Natalia al Ghul. Okay. Well, what about her?
The Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah, okay, you got it. Okay, we have... okay.
Now, what comes to the top of your head that I'm missing right off? Who did I not?
Two-Face.
Two-Face.
Yeah.
Fucking Tommy Lee Jones.
I will actually allow us to get rid of... Because I want to actually rank Two-Face on here.
Yeah, get rid of the girl.
Get rid of the girl.
Well, Talia birthed his child, who was one of his worst villains ever. So.
Yeah, exactly.
What, the unwanted, illegitimate baby?
You know what? As
that's comics. Though.
As host of as founder of this podcast, I'm getting rid of Natalia al Ghul for Two-Face just because
well, we can't have Roz then.
Yeah. Okay, so comes down to Joker, Penguin, Poison Ivy, Riddler, Mr. Freeze, Bane, Scarecrow, Catwoman, Ra's al Ghul, Two-Face. As we do every list, let's start with the bottom, go from the top, go to the top.
What is the criteria? This is the most deadly to Batman, or your favorite as far as the...
This, I don't think we go for popular... We don't go for popular opinion on this podcast. We go for our favorites and make it popular opinion.
Batman vs. Superman was great. It was the best movie ever.
We're trying to change the climate.
We're trying to change the Batman climate. Okay. So the worst one out of here, and I'll let you look at this list.
Mr. Freeze, get him out of here. Arnold Schwarzenegger, come on.
I don't know. Actually, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's actually,
Because you just like him being like, chill out.
It's hard because I actually like Mr. Freeze like in the comic books and stuff like that, but it's just that one movie. But I have I think I'm gonna actually probably put Ra's al Ghul as my number 10.
I have to go with Penguin. Even though there's been good interpretations of the Penguin. Penguin's just a jackass. Like he's just in the comics, he's just a guy that has control of a lot of guns and he runs a lounge.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because one of my favorite movies of all time is Batman Returns. Danny DeVito, perfect Penguin, but in the comic books he is not. So he is one of the worst. Okay, number 10. So we definitely have Penguin number 10. Number 9. I either have to say it's either, looking at this list, Ra's al Ghul, Scarecrow, or Poison Ivy.
Let's go Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy, number 10. How do you feel about that, Bill?
That's fine by me.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, my only reference is just remembering the trailers for most of and so, just looks alone, Jim Carrey's Riddler, is the worst.
Okay.
Joygasm.
Actually, you know what? Riddler to me is not that impressive sometimes as a villain. I don't like his whole, motivation. His motivation just being, the smartest guy. And it's obviously you're not smart if you want to be the smartest guy.
Well, the first thing ever for most people was the Batman 66, and in the first episode, the Riddler sues Batman.
Oh, the suit.
He sues Batman.
God, that's
horrible
super villain power.
So
you're actually suing Batman.
Litigation. He's got litigation power.
Ties him up in a court battle.
Maybe I'm not thinking Ra's al Ghul. Actually, from this list, Ra's al Ghul is actually pretty cool when I think about him.
Yeah. He's immortal.
Yeah, that is cool. Ra's al Ghul is that's a Batman fact for you, Bill. But yeah, number 8, I'd say Riddler, right?
Yeah.
8, Riddler. Okay, so now we got Mr. Freeze, Bane, Scarecrow, Catwoman, Ra's al Ghul, Two-Face. Who do we go for that number 7?
Catwoman.
I mean, I might have to disagree with you there because I mean, is there anyone that is closer to the Batman villain-wise than Catwoman? I mean, Okay.
Yeah, we can hold off.
Okay. Oh well, I mean, in between. Actually, you know what? I'll let you have that one, Kyle.
Ooh, benevolent.
Yeah, this is becoming Kyle's list.
There's gonna be like an addendum added on after. Just like, hey, Nicky back here. That list was bullshit.
Let me do this list. Mr. Freeze, Bane, Scarecrow, Ra's al Ghul, Two-Face.
No, Scarecrow.
And then
all
the
he
Joker.
does is just put a mask on you and show you your nightmares. Like that's what it was.
He
like,
does.
He sprays gas that like attacks your central nervous system and makes you lose your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you see your worst fears.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, there hasn't really been like I'd say the coolest interpretation of Scarecrow has been the Arkham video game.
Oh yeah.
Where like, and honestly, that's almost kind of why I have been kind of like straying from putting him towards the bottom of the list.
What about Two-Face?
I like Two-Face.
I like him as well, but
is he better than Ra's al Ghul?
Mm.
Ra's al Ghul is a little more epic. I
Yeah.
feel like because he wants to like make like a society and stuff like that. So Mr. Freeze, Bane, Scarecrow, Two-Face, number 6.
Mr. Freeze.
Oh, okay. Okay, if he's number 6,
just 'cause of Arnold.
yeah, I agree. Just because of Arnold.
So now we're in the top 5.
Now we're top 5. Now this is where it starts getting really.
Yeah, let's stop joking around.
Well, hey, let's stop joking around.
So we got Bane's, Scarecrow, Joker, Two-Face, and Ra's al Ghul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think.
If you go from a mainstream perspective, now I know you guys get deep, but
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul, I know nothing about this.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's
yeah.
put him number 5.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
he's very ambitious as a character.
Yeah.
He just wants to set up a utopia, which is like, but by wiping everything else.
Oh yeah,
out.
he's got a whole new world order-y.
Yeah, exactly. Very
like a Fight Club sort of guy.
Yeah, he's definitely like an anarchist.
Yeah. Well, Bill's correct on that. So Bill has contributed to the
that's
list.
true.
Okay. Okay. So Joker, Bane, Scarecrow, Two-Face. I'm willing to put Two-Face number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So then, I mean, out of these 3 that are left,
Bane, Joker, Scarecrow. You gotta
easy number 3.
Yeah.
The Scarecrow
Scarecrow's
easy
3.
number 3.
Yeah. And then here's where it gets hard.
And I only put Scarecrow up there just because of how awesome Arkham Asylum is.
Dude, have you seen Arkham Knight?
No,
he
I
plays
haven't.
a huge role.
Really?
In Arkham Knight. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Well, because of that video game, Scarecrow. So Scarecrow has a lot of thinking to do to Arkham. Okay. Now Now this is where
Bane and Joker. Well, Bane is the only one who's ever broken Batman physically.
It's very true.
And the Joker's the only one who's
broken him emotionally.
Exactly.
Bunch of fucking nerds.
You look at just how the male, psyche is set up. I mean, the patriarchy says we have to be physically strong.
Yeah.
The mental thing we can't show is much. Like, you can't show that you're broken emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is worse? To be broken emotionally, the thing you're supposed to not have.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Exactly.
the physical, I've been beaten, dominated by another man.
Well, let's say I have to almost say Bane is number 1 just because he has defeated Batman. Like he's the only one who's like defeated him completely.
Ooh,
because
Joker
Joker will not cross that line. Joker just wants to fuck with him. That's his whole deal. It's just being there and throwing a fucking stick in his spokes. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of Joker's.
Since there's 3 of us,
Bane wants to kill him.
And since there's 3 of us,
Yeah.
I will go down to a vote. I vote Joker. You vote Bane. Bill, you're deciding. Who's number 1? Who's the number 1 Batman villain? Decided by Bill Conway.
I have to go Joker.
Yeah! Alright!
I can still agree with that.
Okay, so let's go over this list. Starting from number 10. Number 10, we got Penguin. We don't care about that fucker. Poison Ivy. Number 9, looks can kill, but you don't, Poison. All right, number 7, Catwoman.
Right, skip number 8. Skip number 8.
Oh yeah, we skipped number 8. Number 8, Riddler. We don't care that you're suing Batman. Number 7, Catwoman. Women towards the bottom of the list. Not intentional or that just so happened to be that way.
Yeah.
Number 6, Mr. Freeze. Thanks, Arnold. He'd probably be a top 5 if it wasn't for Arnold. Number 5, Ra's al Ghul. Lesser known but very ambitious. That's why we like him. Number 4, Two-Face, classic character. Duality, can't really go against that. Number 2, Bane has broken the bat physically and. Well, I mean, just has been the only one to actually defeat the man. Now, number 1, Joker. All right, so we got it out of the way. We have officially ranked the best Batman villains of all time. So it's very cool. Kyle, is there anything you want to promote at the end of this? Any mics you go to or anyone where you want to see you?
Not really. Not at the moment. I'll be headlining at Red Robin. Serving up bottomless fries, and I'll probably be miserable. So come and say hi.
That's awesome. Bill,
there's the Hard Times over at thehardtimes.net and the Edgeland Podcast over at edgelandpodcast.com, and then
wait, so the Hard Times is on .net,
yeah,
but the podcast is .com.
Yeah, somebody already had the Hard. Well, there's a guy squatting on the hardtimes.com, and he won't.
Have you got? He's not budging.
He's squatting on the Hard Times.
And we tried to contact him, but
he's off the grid.
Yeah, he's in the wind. He's gone.
So you guys had to force to do the.
Yeah.
And then me, I will actually be hosting Bill Conway's open mic next week at Blackwater.
Everybody's so excited.
Everyone's very excited about it. It's going to be a big talked about event. I'm excited to promote it, and then I'm just at all the open mics like you regularly see me. I do like 12. But that's it for this week of Batman comedy and other stuff. And join us next week as we talk about more Batman comedy and other stuff. Thank you, Bill, for having you on the show. Thank you, Kyle, for showing up to my house again.